Lester, was I someone who has influenced you in a good or bad way? Explain why.
I feel like you're someone who has influenced me in both ways, right? Right? Sometimes I do dumb stuff because of you, and other times, like the one time I got sent to Lacayo, right? But that was my fault. I take accountability for that. And you influenced me more in a good way. You've always been there for when I need you, and you always give me advice when I need it. And even though I might not listen to the advice right now, I still have it in my mind, right? But you've been there for whenever I needed you or whenever I was low, and that's why I feel like you've influenced me in a good way, because I also want to reciprocate that feeling that whenever you need me, I'll be there, or whenever somebody else needs me, I'll be there.
Lester, which one of my characteristics have stood out the most during high school?
I think the easiest one that I could probably think of right now is how easy you are to talk to. With you, I don't even remember how I started talking to you. It just, for me, it just randomly happened. That's what I think. It just happened and you just appeared in my life. I know you since 9th grade, and I guess you told me that you didn't really like me in 9th grade, but I feel like I've known you since a long time ago, and I feel like that is one of the characteristics that stood out to me, was how easy it is to talk to you. Because I made a really good friend because of how easy you are to talk to.
Lester, how would you describe me all of high school?
In all of high school, I always seen you as an energetic and really fun person to be around. That's why I always like to be around you, because there's never a dull moment with you, never. With all the dumb stuff you be saying and all the dumb stuff you be doing, I'm always finding myself laughing, even if it's in my mind or out loud. I'm always laughing, even at you. That's it.
Okay, Lester, what are some changes you've seen of me throughout all of high school?
So changes is that you become more responsible and mature. Before, I know you used to make a lot of mistakes, but now I see less of that, throughout this year, and I see you grow more. You've been more mature. All right, bro, I'm gonna stop blazing.
Lester, what strength of mine should I carry on after high school?
What strength? I feel like your kindness. You're very kind to others, and I feel like that's a really
Keep going.
That's a really strong strength to have, and I feel like you can make a lot of good connections and good friends if you keep showing that kindness you're showing us.
Beautiful.
ふわふわりふわふわるあなたが名前を呼ぶそれだけで宙へ浮かぶふわふわる
What are some changes you've seen about me through high school?
Well, if I'm honest, I've seen no changes. You're still the same. You cause a ruckus. You bother me. You're a headache. You cry too much. You're a loser. So I haven't really seen much change. You are a little bit more grown up. You've gotten taller, 5'5". So yeah.
Have I influenced you in a good or bad way? Explain why.
Well, you've actually influenced me in a bad way. He actually showed me my first mukbang, and that's what got me into eating. And yeah.
Sexy. Which one of my characteristics have stood out the most during high school?
One characteristic that has really stood out is how bothersome you are and how annoying you are. You are the most annoying person on earth. You should be more like this guy. You should be more like my friend here. His name is Christopher. Hottest man alive. Chocolate. We love our chocolate man.
語れない眠れないとろい寝ないあなたの似てる正体
Okay, Richard. Have I influenced you in a good or in a bad way? And explain why.
And then for me, how did you feel when you met me again in high school?
Alright, so to answer Carlos' question, Carlos has inspired me in a good way. So, you might be wondering, how the heck has Carlos influenced me in a good way? He's influenced me in how to defend myself.
How to what?
How to defend myself from bums like him.
What?
He might be a child or a bum, but he's still a GOAT.
I like that. What are some characteristics about me that have stood out throughout all of high school?
So I got you with like 3. Talkative, confident, and positive. Ooh. Right, these are 3 things that are like the top 3 characteristics that you have, and low-key 3 that I want to be better at. So you helped me in a lot of ways, Carlos. How's your one? How's that? Here, by the way, you're getting clipped.
Okay, how would you describe me all of high school?
No, even though I wasn't really with you, like, for most of the classes, I would describe you as like a fun, always sleeping dude, right? Always cracking jokes. Wait, I'm setting up for the next video.
Why spell Clifford? Give up.
Wait, what's the question again?
How have I? How would you describe me all of high school?
So even though I wasn't really with you for like the majority of high school, I would describe you as like a fun, always talkative, cracking jokes, and honestly making the day a lot better. No glaze intended. But yeah, that's really it. Always cracking jokes, being talkative.
Let that sink in.
No, get that.
I need a break.
What's your favorite memory of me in class?
There's a lot. Every time you mention a club and we don't speak about those things in school, every time that you guys say nasty things about me that we cannot repeat on video because it will never be caught in 4K, you need to stop saying that special little word that you love to say. But I would say every time that you see that maybe I'm like in my head or like I'm angry or if like I'm walking with purpose and I look a little frustrated, you always come up to me and you always have something funny to say. So your ability to change people's days is what will get you far. So again, no, we're not going anywhere
Yes,
on
we are.
Saturday.
To Candela.
But continue to be that positive light in people's life.
Okay. What advice would you give me going into college?
I think you could give us a little bit more effort. You tend to take things very lax, and I think you can always do a little bit more. So don't settle for the bare minimum. I need you to reach for the highest part or the highest things. You just can't do what's expected of you. You need to do more than that. Don't wait to the last minute to get your stuff done. Don't rely on other people to help you, right? You're gonna work in teams, but you need to rely on yourself because you're the only person that can provide for yourself once you become an adult. Yes, you're gonna have your parents. Yes, if you have siblings, you'll have siblings supporting you. Or if you're in a relationship or if you have family, like a family, whatever it is, right? But you're the only person that you can rely on because you will always be there. Your education will always be there. No one can take those things away from you. So make sure you finish that degree. And that will be the greatest present you can leave any of us here at this school. So finish the degree and do it well. Get research positions. Have a family. Do great things in life. But don't settle for the minimum. And bleep okay.
What strength of mine should I carry on after high school?
I think you're very charismatic. And your charisma is going to get you far. It's all about how you introduce yourself to people. It's all about how you make relationships happen. Delete that part. And it's also how well you're willing to work with people. So you can hate a person, and I know you hate a lot of people, but your charisma will get you far because you hide the dislike that you have for a person. Or if someone makes you angry, you tend to just ignore it and you move on. You still joke with them, you still create a relationship with them, you still are friendly. Your friendliness will get you far. Especially, you want to do science, right? You want to study the stars. If you're going to work with other people who are really into science, you need to be able to be friendly with them, but also create a relationship with them, because no math problem, no science problem, no things that you're going to research and try to solve is going to be easy if you're doing it alone. You have to do it on a team. So keep your friendliness. That's what's going to get you far.
Miss, how should I face difficult obstacles in life?
That's such a good question. It's an honest question with an honest answer. I once heard someone say to me, responsibility, that word that we like to, we think we know, but then we don't really know what to do with it. And responsibility is this, it's the ability to respond, which is the word responsibility. So ask yourself, when you're facing difficult challenges, how much responsibility do you want? Do you want 50%? Do you want 100%? And then why am I asking you this? Because if it's the ability to respond, I want 100% the ability to respond the right way when I'm going through it. That matters because that is the changing point. That is the moment where I have the epiphany, the understanding of what I can change and how to improve in my life. And that's maturity. So Carlos, how much responsibility do you want when you go through trouble? Is it 50% or is it 100? And I hope it's 100 because if it is, you're gonna be intentional about growing and that matters.
Miss, what advice would you give to me going into college?
The advice I would give to you, like I would give to all my students going into college, is don't forget your why. Sometimes we get caught up in the moment. We're in college, we're living it, we're experiencing it, and we fall into these moments of rhythm that almost are like mundane, and then we just forget our why. Like, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I in school? What is it that I want to accomplish? And lots of your why goes really back to your faith, because if you're grounded in your faith and the word that is already living and breathing in you, you know your why. And your why is really to fulfill the call and purpose that God has for you. So don't forget your why.
Miss, what strength of mind should I carry on after high school?
The strength that I feel you should carry on after high school is creativity. Why do I say that? Because I have seen myself with my own eyes. When you step into this creation mode, when you are excited about projects, where you actually get to create something, give input on something, or even problem solve. I've seen it not just in high school. I remember seeing it when you were in the robotics team in middle school. That's actually a strength. It's funny, when we think back of those awkward moments in life, but I have seen that gift in you, and I think it's your calling. I think that's something that you need to pay attention to. And when you get to college, you're gonna have lots of opportunities to do lots of that problem solving and lots of that moment of being creative with a team, with a project, or even with clubs if you want to do that in college. But I think creativity is an art, it's a language in its own. And when you're tapping into that, you just become a whole different person. So Carlos, don't overthink, step into that creative mindset and work and dream and write it down and just do it, because you can.
Mister, how should I face difficult obstacles in life?
So obviously, whatever obstacles you may have differ on levels of severity. I'm a true believer that whatever happens within the span of a day doesn't matter the next day. I tend to try to kind of get over, like if I had a bad day today on a Monday, I don't want it to translate to a Tuesday, right? If I already lost today, that's fine. I will operate it as a loss. But going into Tuesday, I have to almost erase whatever negativity happened the day prior, because if I let it affect me trickling into another day, I've just now ruined 2 days over one problem that could have been easily solved. So honestly, the best advice in regards to overcoming adversity or overcoming, problems in life is don't ever take things way too seriously. Try to not so much get over it, but try to always have this sort of balance of it happened today was a bad day, tomorrow has to be better. And if you do that, you'll be much happier in the long run.
What advice would you give me going into college?
Obviously, I can tell you the generic, study hard, work hard, and that is something that you absolutely have to do. However, really just have fun at college. I feel that a lot of times we scare you, or a lot of us scare you rather, into thinking that like, oh, it's only work. But in college, not only do you make ideally lifelong friends, but you also have experiences that you look back fondly, whether it be going to games, whether it be going to like the little parties that they may have, etc., etc. And I think it's important to take advantage not only academically and like clubs and whatever have you, but also socially, right? These are people that you should make really good friends with, so that in the future, those are people that can have your back, and you know, whether it be finding a job or whatever have you.
Okay, mister, what strength of mine should I carry on after high school?
I think your ability to make friends anywhere is something that is very undervalued. I know it's not an academic strength, right? But sometimes in academics, what really matters, especially in college, when you have many a group project, is who you're cool with, right? And I feel that you've always been somebody that in any room you're in, you'll make friends with the wall, right? You'll talk to the wall, you'll talk to anybody that looks your way. So that sort of manner in being social is something that's very underplayed, because a lot of people, at least now, when they go to college, they're very shy, they're very to themselves, and that is like your big, that'll be your biggest detriment if you are somebody that is not able to make friends as easily. And I think that is a skill that you possess and not many others in your graduating class possess, to be honest with you.
I miss my cocoa butter kisses. Hope you smile when you listen. Ain't no competition.
Papi, ¿qué ha hecho que te has sentido más orgulloso de mí?
Bueno, lo que me ha sentido más orgulloso de ti, que ya has terminado el 12 grado y sigas estudiando para tener una carrera mejor.
Yeah. Papi, ¿en qué te gustaría que yo mejorar?
Bueno, me gustaría que mejorara en todos los aspectos mientras que sea para el porvenir tuyo y que sea más feliz.
Papi, ¿en qué debilidad tú me has visto mejorar?
Bueno, las debilidades que yo te he visto que han mejorado y bastante es por así las matemáticas. La asignatura matemática que siempre te volvía loco, pero la mejoraste.
Oye, que veo, dime que veo, una revista pegadita a la pared. Oye, que veo, dime que veo, haciendo un pasito con la...
Mom, what have I done that has made you the most proud?
The loving that you have given me, and that you're the best student in the school.
Okay, Mom, how should I face difficult obstacles in life?
Take one step at a time, learn from your mistake, and don't give up.
Okay, Mom, what accomplishment has made you the most proud of me?
Not giving up from school and graduating from high school.
Police steady watching me. Every day they clocking me.
So, what strength of yours, Carlos, should you carry on after high school? I like the fact that you have sort of figured it out. And I think that that's a real big strength. It's the problem solving strength. Because I don't have to tell you, you weren't always a very good student. However, these last couple of years, you've sort of found your stride and you sort of have figured out, okay, I need to do X, Y, Z to get to A, B, and C, you know, or the other way around or however, but you have figured it out that, you know what, I need to start doing things in order to accomplish, in order to get closer to whatever goals I have. So moving forward, I think that's an excellent strength to have. Being able to problem solve, being able to like, okay, I can do X, Y, Z. This is what I think that you need to do. It's always thinking out of the box. People that are successful are people that can problem solve and that can think extemporaneously without it being scripted for you. You know, so if you're able to like come up with ideas, come up with resolutions about things, that's half the battle, you know, to be honest. Those are the most, it's not the person that is the smartest that gets the farthest. It's the person that acts. It's the person that can think quickly. It's the person that is constantly like, okay, dándole leña. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I would tell you, you have finally figured it out. So that is a really great strength. And it's the fact that, okay, if this is happening, well, I can jump in and do blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. Okay. So what is one thing that I've taught that I hope that you take with you forever? Aside from like all of the boring class stuff, the one thing that I hope that you've learned from me is that you have to love people. You know, it doesn't matter what shape, what color, what race, what gender, what anything they come in. Give people an opportunity, love them regardless. You know, I think that you can only be as good as what you treat others. And I think that if there's anything that anybody here learns from me, it's that you need to love people, you need to be kind to them, you need to be human to others. But yeah, I think that that's probably one of the most important lessons that anybody can ever teach, and I hope that that was something that I taught along the way. And whatever you do it with a good attitude and smile and laugh throughout it. Nothing's ever that terrible. The sun will come up tomorrow. So the question is, which accomplishment that you have had has made me the proudest? So I don't know if you remember this, but you started here in 4th grade. And in 4th grade, you would break my heart all the time. And I even told you one of those days that I was walking you to class que tú estabas en un lloriqueo, un moco tendido. It was terrible. And I would give you a hug. I don't know if you remember those days, but I would give you a hug pretty much every time that I walked you to class. I would tell you about my daughter, Mia. Okay? And how Mia had a lot of anxiety. She probably still does. You know, and how she would cry every single day. And I would tell you, it's okay, it's going to get better, Carlitos. It's okay, stop crying. Your mom will be here for you at the end of the day. You're going to have a great day. And then there was like this breakthrough day. It took months. And you were fine. And I looked at you and you were just like, and I'm like, good, get it. You know, but it was like that day that you stopped crying and you had such a great day. And then the following day, guess what? You didn't cry either. And it was just like that moment of like, I did this. I accomplished this. I don't need to cry anymore. And it was just like, to me, it was so reassuring that then you finally felt okay and the anxiety had finally subsided and you were functional. And hopefully the next time that you cry will be graduation day. So what is the last piece of advice that I would give you before graduating is don't lose focus. Horses run their race with blinders on. Why? Because they don't want the horse being distracted and then ejecting the jockey that's sitting up on top of them. Okay? They want the horse to run their race. So like the horse, you need to run your race. Imagine that you have blinders on. Okay? Forget about what's happening over there. Forget about what's happening over there. Look at your goal. Continue to move towards it. There's going to be many distractions along the way. Many. Life is happening. Life will always happen. However, you will not have the comfort of me screaming at you. Okay? Because you know that's comforting. You will not have people writing you. As of this point, once you graduate, you're an adult. Okay? Everyone's going to treat you as an adult. You're going to have adult consequences. Life is very short. Okay? So it's up to you to make the most out of it and to create that world or that life that you want for yourself. No one will ever promise you a journey that is simple. However, it is up to you to make that journey one of memory, one of exhilaration, one of tears, one of joy, one of excitement. Sometimes, and again, this journey has its ups and downs, but it's up to you to enjoy the moment, you know. However, get to the destination that you have for yourself. Don't settle. Don't lose focus, because again, it would be very easy to lose focus. However, it is up to you to carry on and push and move and persevere and get yourself to where you want to be, because that's what you have determined for yourself. The minute that you lose focus, forget it. Tell that goal, tell that dream, tell that whatever, I guess it wasn't meant to be, but it doesn't have to be like that. You're the one that can maintain the focus, and that's why limit your distractions. Okay? It's okay to have fun, it's okay to do things and hang out or whatever, but remember what your goals are. And it's going to be hard, but remember what your goals are. Okay? And what you want for yourself, because everything is attainable. Carlos, you're extremely smart. Y cuando tú te pones para las cosas, you get it done. Okay? However, focus on what you decide for yourself and what your goals are. Don't settle. And with that, I tell you, congratulations to you, Carlos. Cry at graduation. So how has it been having you as a student these past 2 years? Because I've only had you as a student for 2 years, but I've known you since you were 9 years old. I think that whenever you like something, you excel in it. And whenever you don't care about something, you sort of like kick it to the side. So I think that moving forward, regardless if you like something or if you don't like something, make it your priority of doing well in it. You don't need to like everybody to be surrounded by people. However, I think that you need to do well in everything in order to be successful, you know. So I think that when you're on, you're definitely on. However, I think that sometimes you check out, and there's no need for you to check out, you know, because again, you're capable. Okay, you're able to do whatever it is that you want to do if you study and if you work hard. So do that, study and work hard. Don't check out, check in.
Because of you, I laugh a little less, cry a little harder, and smile a lot less.